It's official. From the 1st of July, if you don't comply with the rules of the road, you will get penalty points. It's part of the new points demerit system. Repeat offenders could have their licenses suspended for up to 3 months. To tell us more about this, we are joined by a spokesperson from the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, Mondem Kalipi. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on ENCA. We know that the AARTO system has been going about here in Gauteng, for instance, in the two cities in Gauteng, Pretoria as well as Johannesburg. But from the 1st of July, it goes national. What would you say you've learned from the first rollouts in these two cities to be able to go live nationally in about 2-3 months' time?
Well, good morning, Maseko. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Well, as you have already indicated, that we have piloted AARTO in the two jurisdictions, which is Tshwane and Joburg. And we can safely indicate that, well, we are ready now for the national rollout. And the key aspects in terms of what we've been doing around the two cities has been to say how do all the elements of the Act affect the road users. We have, for example, concentrated very much on the adjudication process, which looks at the elective options. We have been able to educate the road users on how this system works, and we have been able to see how it has also reduced fatalities in the region of Tshwane and in Joburg and in Gauteng broadly. But we can safely indicate that now we are ready. We have been interacting with traffic officers. We have received training on how the system works. We have also been able to up the systems interacting with our stakeholders. That is the Road Traffic Management Corporation, in terms of ensuring that the systems are ready for the national rollout. So that is what we can really indicate at the moment to say when the 1st of July comes, the country will be ready for the national rollout. And in terms of interacting with other role players who are also outside of the city or Gauteng provinces, we have been able to say what we have learned here, those systems can also be implemented in those other parts of the country, that is in other provinces. Currently now we are busy finalizing the regulations so that we are able to have a uniform system throughout the country.
But we have seen that there's been a delay sort of in implementing AARTO. There's been a couple of months where you'd say that it would be implemented and then it would be moved forward, etc. So what was the problem in terms of the delay?
Well, there has not necessarily been any delay. I think the intention was to launch in 2020, but as we all know that we're all affected by the pandemic. But that has also given us enough space to fine-tune our systems. And we have also been interacting, we have brought on board also the districts throughout the country to make sure that they are also able to have their systems ready. We have also been embarking on an intensive public education drive, because one of the key prerequisites for implementation of any piece of legislation or policy is that the citizens need to be fully informed about it. So that is what we have been doing throughout the country. We have been in shopping malls, we have been taxi ranks, we have also interacted with our counterparts in the driving testing centers to make sure that their systems are also ready for the national rollout. So there has not been any delay as such, but as we are building up to the 1st of July, there are definitely certain steps that we cannot bypass, such as the process of ensuring that the regulations that are put in place, they have been fully consulted with all role players throughout the country.
All right, so there are some South Africans who, for instance, have said that this is a money-making scheme, as the agency would be receiving money for the demerits, etc. What would your response be to that?
Well, we need to look at that from another angle, Maseko, in the sense that, the biggest problem that the country has today is the fact that there are more than 14,000 road users who die on our roads. And AARTO is really designed to make sure that we fine-tune our road safety management processes. That is why AARTO is coming in to make sure that we complement some of the efforts, such as visibility of traffic officers on the road, because the major issue is on the behavior of the road user. If we are able to really make sure that we have a system that promotes individual compliance in each of the road users in the country, then we'll really be able to say we are turning the tide against the high number of fatalities that happen on our roads. So AARTO needs to be looked at from that particular angle, because even the resources that will be generated out of this particular program, in terms of the payments, in terms of the penalties, that money will also be plowed back in terms of ensuring that we train our officers adequately, so that they are able to implement effective law enforcement measures. We are also able to plow that money into our public education efforts in terms of road users, so that we understand why it's important for all of us to abide by the laws of the road. So that is where most of those resources are likely to be going into, to make sure that we strengthen our efforts in combating lawlessness on our roads. The number of 14,000 of road users who die on our roads is one. I mean, it's too much. And as you always say, one death on our roads is one too many.